Definitely want to hold your feet to the fire on this quartering versus Matt Walsh line.
Okay, sure. No, go ahead, because I like
this is a very tough line.
Is quartering, was this why quartering was going pro trans? Because I saw him go like, hey, we need to just focus on the next election cycle and not talk about trans issues, because that's a thing we're gonna lose on, as if we can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time.
Yeah. No, but basically it was like there's no need to be rude. And calling him gross, even if you don't like him, you shouldn't say that, because there's no reason to be rude.
That's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. You can say something. I think,
and that being rude, rude hurts the cause because you alienate people.
So that's free speech. You can say someone's gross, someone's disgusting.
Oh, I agree.
I find that disgusting. You say it all the time, by the way. You call people disgusting live on air.
Yeah,
as
that's
a sunflower.
No, right. Yeah, this dude here is gross. So
yeah, and that's fine. That's your opinion. You're allowed to do that. Yes.
but what I'm saying is, but do you think that it hurts or helps the cause to actually say something like that?
Does it hurt or help the cause
to actually say Dylan to actually call him out verbally as being gross and disgusting? Now, to be fair, to give full context, he wasn't saying that all people who identify who are trans women are gross. He was saying that Dylan Mulvaney is offensive to women because Dylan Mulvaney acts like the most clownish version of a woman imaginable, like going camping in high heels. Which is like, and it's offensive to women, not more than anyone else.
It jumps the shark. It goes beyond into offense, right?
Right.
Like
some people opine that's what Dylan Mulvaney is. He's basically a cartoon of stupid women. If he wasn't trans,
he's a meme. He's a meme.
If he wasn't trans, right? If he didn't call himself trans, he would be considered the most misogynistic man who ever lived.
If it was James O'Keefe doing that as part of a bit or a sting or something like that, they would 100% bring him up on charges, even for hate crimes.
Yeah, for being so misogynistic. Sure. Right. But because this dude calls himself trans woman, so now all of a sudden to hate on him is evil, transphobic, and you're some sort of ist.
You remember, Milo, right? Like, because your opinion, let me just confirm, your opinion on Milo is that Milo is a grifter, correct? You're in that camp that he is in the worst way. He just goes from thing to thing to thing, trying to get attention, trying to act out. And I believe Dylan Mulvaney was on the G side, right, until he switched to the T side, I believe, correct?
So I don't know what G side or T side is.
Well, you don't know what any of the letters stand for in the LGBTQA plus plus?
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay. So, but anyways, the point of the matter is he comes off as a Milo type. He comes off as a new version or permutation, which is
that's a great call. Great call. You never said anything so insightful as that. That's a phenomenal call.
It's my first time. I know.
That is your first time. Now you need to sub up to Legal Mindset because he just said the first insightful thing of his life. Yes, I agree with you. He is 2023's version of Milo Yiannopoulos. That is what he is. And Drew Barrymore can go hugging that and doing whatever she wants.
He's found the way to get attention, right? It's just like, the people will court attention, whether it's through good behavior or bad behavior. Mm-hmm. People who want attention will court it in any way. He is saying, I'm doing a thing knowing it's bad, but I know that this is going to piss people off and get attention from the right and the left. Because the left is going to be like, you go queen, you go strong queen, because they have to. They're required to. And the right is going to be like, this is disgusting and gross, and react to it in that way. Because it's clear.
Yeah. Imagine Dylan Mulvaney writes a book like 6 months from now, basically how I grifted the left, and basically says this was all an act. Like,
and he can do absolutely fantastic on that. Like absolutely fantastic. Goalie for $5 says, the Mises Caucus was the first group to de-wokify a major institution. The new Libertarian Party is the last remaining respectable political outlet. Yeah, I have respect for them, but once again, and I say this as a person who would identify most with the libertarians, the true libertarians, the Mises Caucus particularly, there's no way they're going to win, right? I mean, I think they can do it at a local level, but the problem is the entrenchment, the absolute entrenchment. I think the local level would be the best thing for them. to push on, and also to push on influencing the Republican Party in a way to push them more libertarian in their beliefs. I think that's where you're going to get the most value. And I think the Republican Party would be better served by going more libertarian and less tradcon. And I actually think as the generations shift, as kind of the boomers are finally phased out of control, I think there will be a shift in that direction. I think that is something that's sort of a legacy item, which the dinosaurs are keeping around. But I do think it will shift in that direction. Because I think most young people who are conservative, if you look at most young people who are on the right, which, like we said, doesn't really exist, they're more libertarian minded. They don't really give a shit about the gay issues in terms of you can do whatever you want to do. Right? These are kind of the positions I see. You can do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Drugs, let's tax it or legalize it or whatever, but we really don't, like in terms of marijuana, right? At least let's start with marijuana, right? Like tax, legalize, we really don't care that much. What are other issues? We're not trying to police video games. We're not trying to police speech, right? Those are things that I think the older conservatives wanted to do. And I think younger conservatives don't care about Mortal Kombat. They don't care. I mean, we're all playing.
Here's another dividing line: prostitution. Prostitution is the dividing line.
Oh yeah, we're willing to legalize it, and we've traveled and see that other countries have this and it works just fine. They don't break down and have horrible things going on. Versus, I think a lot of older, especially social conservatives, would have a problem with that. I have no problem with that. I actually, having been around the world in other countries that have it, I don't think it's a problem. I think, in fact, I think it could actually be a solution, which sounds crazy.
I mean, I sort of look at it like this: in an ideal world, we wouldn't have all these things. Like, you wouldn't have any.
And by the way, it exists in the United States without being legalized. All of these things still exist. People are still finding ways to pay for sex,
right,
without legally paying for sex. Just to be very clear.
Fair enough. And there's three levels, okay? And what I would say is this: if we were in an ideal world, we wouldn't have these things. Wouldn't be an issue at all. Everyone would just be normal and not feel like they have to go down the role of degrading themselves or self-harm or take drugs or other things. That's in an ideal world. In a less ideal world, which we're not here at that stage either, and a less, oh wow, I love it.
That was quick. Quick.
I joined social media to get that. That's why.
This is golden.
For that, for someone to make that. That's why. God bless you. So I can quit now. I can hang it up. I'm done. I'm out of here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
It was great seeing you. All right. So, in an ideal, so we're not at the ideal stage. We're not even at the second level. Second level would be like, okay, you have a mix of some weak and some strong people. And when I'm talking about strong people, I'm saying emotionally strong, financially strong, psychologically strong, and then you would have some weaker people who might be damaged in one way or another, or naturally weaker, and the strong would protect the weak. In that environment, where we could trust the strong to actually be altruistic, care about others, and properly take care of the weak. In that case, I would say we should be trying to institute a more moral society where we are going to stop people we're going to stop the weak from taking drugs. We'll stop the weak from engaging in ways that are self-destructive, and perhaps pass laws like that. The problem is we're not at that second level. We're at a level where the people who are strong emotionally, psychologically, and with maturity are also self-interest pigs. And those are the ones who are in charge. So when they pass these laws, and they're basically passing it and looking at, there's cronyism and there's all sorts of terrible ways that they look out for themselves. So we're at a lower level down here where the people who are strong are very much self-interested, and they don't give the slightest damn about protecting the weak. And all these laws that they pass are not properly applied. They're intentionally misapplied to punish people they dislike and to basically become tyrannical and become terribly evil, powerful ways of becoming more powerful, more rich, and more famous, and all the trappings of that, and not having the slightest damn about the weak. And they'll pass these laws under the rubric of, oh, I'm worried about taking care of these people, when really all they care about is winning the next election and making more millions of dollars. Since we're down here, that's where I become much more of a libertarian, where I'm like, I don't want these people who are powerful to be passing any of these laws and saying we're worried about the weak, because I know you're full of garbage. You don't really mean it. You're only doing this because you want more power, more control, and more authority over the weak, and that's why you're passing these laws.
But you have children, right? I mean, when you raise a child, the way they become stronger is by learning for themselves. You doing something and protecting them from an experience
Under guidance, though.
Right.
You wouldn't send your kid out.
Control,
you wouldn't send your kid out. Right. You wouldn't send your kid out to some gangbanger neighborhood and say, hey, figure out how to get home. There's no money. Figure out how to get home.
No. But like, for example, when you're playing a sport with them, you let's say you're playing football, right? And you're teaching them how to throw football. You're playing catch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they go out there and when you throw it, they trip. Right. And they get hurt and they fall. Right. You're there to help them out. You're there, to do it. But they got to go out there and fall and trip to learn how to not trip. To learn how to not fuck up. They got to go out there and do that. Right. The same thing with driving a car. Sometimes and I know it's a sensitive topic for Joe, but you got to learn by fucking up, by maybe the kid gets in a minor fender bender or something like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you learn. You're like, okay, you fucked up. What did you do wrong? How did you do it wrong? How are we not going to do this again? Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go through that process or
Yes.
else you never learn for yourself.
They have to learn for themselves. So what I'm
by
saying
the way,
is
that's a problem universally. I see that even over here. A lot of people, they have one kid, so they overparent the kid and overprotect the kid, and the kid is useless when
they're screwed up. Yeah. Really, it becomes Hunter Biden.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They do become Hunter Biden. I mean, over here, it's like, especially you see with the Chinese, because I'll hate on the Chinese all day. It's called little emperor syndrome. The kid is just a little piece of shit, like absolute, complete piece of shit.
Did you, speaking of which, did you see that girl who